Hi, Fashion Dolls. It is finally Friday, May 9th, and welcome to an all new episode of Style by Stevie. Our very special guest today has been on the show previously. He is back for his second appearance. We've got so much to discuss. I hope you guys are all doing well. I took a little break yesterday, but without further ado, let's welcome our incredibly talented, handsome, award winning special guest, host. This man wears so many hats, and I'm honored to have him back in the dollhouse with me again so that we can catch up and see what he's been up to since our last interview, because I think we did our last interview in the fall of 2024 last year. So I'm super excited to welcome him back. Please welcome back to the dollhouse, Fashion Dolls, Lester Green. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, handsome. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. How you feeling?
I am doing wonderful. It is such a pleasure to have you back here as we catch up. How has 2025 been for you so far? I think we did our last interview last year, 2024. That would have been in the fall.
Yeah, it's going great. I'm just excited to be alive. How you feeling? How's your 2025?
Whew. Well, where do I begin? It's been crazy. It's been hectic. I must say that I'm thankful to be able to continue to keep doing this platform each and every day. It's been a journey, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. And I know a lot of people wondering, where was she yesterday? Because I always do the show every day, Monday through Friday. Well, if you guys missed it, I went on LaTroy Gardner's Stop, Look, and Listen, and we did an interview yesterday, and it was amazing. We had a great time. So be on the lookout for that. But working in 2025 and trying to keep booked and busy as possible. So a lot of shows, a lot of things coming this year for me in the horizon, as well as you. So, oh my goodness. Where do we what kind of show? LaTroy Gardner's Stop, Look, and Listen is more so getting in touch with yourself, learning about yourself. And what I love about his platform is that he allows you to tell your story from childhood all the way up until now in the present. So he got to know a little bit about how I got this platform started, Style by Stevie, and it was amazing. We had such a great time. So make sure you guys be on the lookout for that.
Congrats.
Yes, congrats to you. You have a lot of projects that are coming out, 33, 34 to be exact. You've also been doing some producing and directing. We've seen you in the feature film uh Polly Love and Peach City 2, and you're one of the new faces there. So I mean, and then your co-stars, Michael. I've had Michael on back last year, I think, as well, too, 2024. So it's been a pretty busy year for all of us, and I'm not letting up. So for you, what all have you been up to? I mean, I could go down the list here of things you've been working on.
Well, I just came back from Dallas, Texas. We're shooting a series called Frenemies, limited series by Snoop Robinson and KG and Swirl Films. So I was out there filming that, and it was amazing, Miss Stevie. They were so professional. They ran that set as if it was a well-oiled machine. And then after we were done shooting, they called us in the room one by one and asked us, okay, how did we do? Did you like how everything went? Did you have any problems with anybody? Do you have any suggestions on how we could make it better? And I just couldn't believe it. I said, wow, this is the first time I've ever had this kind of one-on-one after a film shoot. Because normally after you wrap, everybody just leaves and they go in their separate
Yes.
directions. So it was nice to actually give feedback on how they could do things better. But they did a great job. Salute to Julian. He's the writer, amazing writer. And I'm excited to show the world what we did.
Yes, Frenemies by Snoop Robinson with Swirl Films, great production company, black owned. And what I love is that this cast is so diverse. Now, this you put the post up back in March. So April, the show was released in April, in production in April. So it's out now. And then of course you got Polylove in the Peach City. They of course you can't get enough of people walking up to you about Uncle Willie and
Right.
Father May I. So I mean, you've been working
Yeah.
tirelessly. So for you, that was something that I wanted to ask you. How's it been finding the balance with all of your projects? Because you have at least 34 that are in the works, some of that in post-production, some of that in pre-production. And then you're working on the production side as well, too. So how do you find that balance?
Well, my goal moving forward is to focus mainly on acting because I find that when I try to do too many things at once, I lose my focus. So
Yeah,
now I
it's
just want to
overwhelming.
act because that's my number one goal. That's my number one passion. You know how you love fashion, you love interviewing people. I just want to do that and then see where that takes me because sometimes when you try to do too many things, you start to give less than 100%. And I don't want to do that.
You crash. That's why I did that. You crash. And my mother has told me that. She's gotten on me about that. She said, "What I tell you about multitasking?" I remember one day I was I was cooking some shrimp for her. Lately I've been like on a binge with just seafood. I love seafood. So I forgot to rinse the I forgot to rinse the shrimp before I cooked it, so I had to take it out the pan and put it back in the bag and rinse it and put it back in the pan and cook it. So just like that's what I told you about bum rushing, multitasking, because I was in the process of uploading. I did an interview that day, and I got done kind of late because the conversation was so good. We typically have been going overtime with these interviews, and they've lasted an hour. So sometimes I would get done like 6 or 7 o'clock almost. And oh my God, so she told me that. She said, "What I tell you about going so fast and multitasking? I thought I could do it all, but trust me, for anybody out there, make sure that you are finding the balance. That is key and crucial and important. You'll crash, you'll burn out."
You will. I don't know how you do it though. You do so many interviews every week. Do you ever get tired? Do you ever say to yourself, you know what, I think I'm going to just take the whole week off?
I do. But I'm so devoted to my viewers. I'm so devoted. I'm just like, I can't give up now. I got so much fire in me and so much to say, and people look forward to hearing it every day, Monday through Friday. But I do get tired. But my weekends are like my time off. So what I do is I take time and I spend time with my family. And that is the best time for me ever. That is the downtime for me to be able to spend time with family. And DKLA says I ask him this question every time I speak to him about balance, about balance. And I hope for the people that are watching, you can all take something away from this as well too. We all try to wear uh oh,
Too many hats. Right.
there we are.
Mm-hmm.
And my cam cut off on me.
That's,
There we are.
yeah.
We're back.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. We all try to wear so many different hats. It's overwhelming. It's a lot for each and every one of us. And it's to the point where if you don't slow down, you'll find yourself burnt out. And that was something that my mother feared of, was me getting burnt out. So, I mean, even with me being 30, you're young, you're in your prime, you want to do it all. You want to taste everything. You
Mm-hmm.
want to explore everything as far as your career aspect and what you want to do. It's overwhelming, but the price at the end of the day is so worth it. But just make sure that you are getting your rest. That is key and critical. And we talked about that in our last interview as it pertains to mental health and getting your rest and everything.
Nah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. And I'm getting better at that. And again, the main goal is to act. And then obviously, I want to host and do interviews and things like that. But I think I just need to focus my energy on just acting. No more working behind the scenes and doing all this other stuff. And then I found myself always trying to help everybody else. And so once I do that, I find that I don't have enough energy to help myself on certain
Yeah.
things. So I'm trying to get more stingy with my own time. I'm always giving and giving and giving. I don't know if you ever feel that way. You ever feel like you always
Yes.
give so much, but nobody's really pouring into you. So I'm working on that.
You know, it's human nature. We're so quick to give to everybody. We help everybody. That's human instinct. That's the first thing. We help everybody out. And you don't want to feel bad about it at the end of the day because you want to make sure that everybody has everything that they need. So it kind of makes you feel guilty when you're not able to help them in that moment, but you got to take care of yourself first, and people understand that self-care is needed. So you have to make sure, because you cannot pour from an empty
Mm,
glass. I've heard that on multiple occasions. You cannot keep giving so much of yourself to the point where there is nothing left to give. And people have to understand that. They have to be able to understand that you too are yourself. And my mother, she's come to her senses because I'm always there to help her. But I'm just like, that's my mom. I would never do that to her. She's like, I don't want to aggravate you. I hate to aggravate you. I said, no, you're my mother. You brought me into this world. My job is to help you
oh,
whenever you need. And she's been sick. She's been in and out of the hospital. So my job is to help her and do this platform. I'm the only one that's healthy, that's able bodied in the house, that's able to do these things for her, you know? So
yeah,
we got to make sure that we're taking care of our own, especially in these times more than ever. Look out for our own, but also be critical and mindful and look out for yourself as well too, because you can't pour from an empty glass. You cannot.
yeah. And I respect that because I was a mama's boy. My mom passed away from diabetes. So I know what that's like trying to take care of my mom. So I would definitely encourage you to continue taking care of your mom, being there for her because you only get one mother. So make the most of it. So kudos to you for doing that.
Most definitely. And I told her I wouldn't trade that for the world. I wouldn't trade taking care of you and making sure that everything I do, this is why I do this. This is why I do Style by Stevie, to make her proud, to put a smile on her face. And it's amazing to know that my family supports me doing this platform as well too. So I'm so thankful and just abundantly blessed and overwhelmed by the amount of love and support that my family gives me for doing this platform, and just being able to understand it and get it and how much passion it means to me. So my mother gets it and my family gets it as well too.
Oh,
So
that's
support
beautiful.
is incredible.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. Family's
And
important.
yes, and speaking of family, Polly Love in Peach City too. You're one of the new faces in the film alongside Rico Cassadine. Super talented, outstanding job in the film and trailer. There was an exchange. I seen the cookie poster with you two. You had that exchange.
Yeah.
Geo is, oh my goodness, it's all new faces. And then congratulations to Sasha Love and Michael. Yes, I'm pretty sure everybody has seen the video at the bowling alley. It was beautiful. Her gown was absolutely gorgeous. The train was gorgeous. So congrats to Michael and Sasha on everything. And this project here is explosive.
Yeah.
Just from the trailer alone, what can you tell us about your character and the sequel to Polylove?
So Pilot Love 1, 2, and 3 are all on Tubi. Let me just put that out there. And they are created by Dr. Maya Speller. You got my boy Albion Walker, Omar Soto, Michael James, Sasha Love, the whole team. And I'm in Poly Love 2 and 3. And I play Marcus. And Marcus is just that guy who's always looking to start fires. He's always looking to spice things up because he doesn't like anything that's boring. So every time you see me on the screen, I'm that guy who's trying to create some drama. And that's the complete opposite of who I am in real life. I'm not a messy person. I
Mm.
like peace. I like to go with the flow in a sense. I'm not one to really stir up things. So it was fun playing that character. People have been messaging me saying, "Oh, Lester, you are so messy. Marcus is this and Marcus is that," and I get a kick out of it because I had a fun time playing that character. And congrats to Sasha Love and Michael James. I know Michael James is in St. Louis filming a movie, and then Sasha Love, she's in Buffalo, New York, filming a movie. So I love seeing creatives and actors pursuing their dreams outside of their hometown. I think it's important to travel and to see the world and to experience it. So kudos to them.
As well for you, you also have explored other avenues. So shout outs to each and every one of these actors in this groundbreaking project. for exploring outside of that. And I said this just last week to a guest that I had on, Darren Blaze. And you guys know that he works in the adult entertainment business. And he would have been the first adult entertainer I would have ever interviewed here on Style by Stevie. There was romance. I've interviewed him also as well too, one of the seconds. But we were talking about how you have to have multiple streams of income.
Mm.
And that was key and critical, especially in this business. And these times where everything is going up, we have to make sure that we are dipping our toe in all parts of the water, whether it's executive producing, co-directing, writing, stepping behind the lens. But I know, Lester, for you, you said, okay, I want to stick to just focusing on this.
Yeah.
But you have that production title under your belt. So
Yeah.
kudos to you for also dipping your toe in other lanes and other avenues. And that's something that I want to do as well too. Now, outside of Style by Stevie, I have the Girl Let's Talk or Girl Talk panels where it's me and four other African American women. And you guys see me do it every day here on the gram. So I would like to step outside of that or step down from the panel and then have someone fill in for me
Mm.
possibly pretty soon. But I love it so much because people are so used to hearing my opinion on things that go on in the world or, just beauty trends, as you stated, fashion, whatever it may be. I still want to dabble behind the scenes as well too and produce. I want to write. I want to direct. I want to do that. Style by Stevie, yes, I created it and I'll continue to keep hosting it, but outside of this, I want to have something else to fall back on because we talk a lot about legacy and what do we want to be remembered for.
Mm.
And I want to be remembered for knowing that I made my mark with being a voice to the voiceless, being a voice to people out here who look like us, who look like this screen here, who are black, who don't have, where they're trying to take away our voices in this time and silence us, silence our creativity, but they see our our innovativeness. They see our creativity. They see what we are capable of doing, and it scares them. So they would say, we would rather get the blacks off of television, get them out of here. We can get
Mm.
them out of here. They don't need to be in here and represented. So for me, seeing the Met Gala this year, the Met Gala was all black. Where we're seeing rollbacks and pushbacks of everything that is black or anything other than, we are now seeing a shift. The more you try to erase us, and Jamie Foxx said it best. I'm pretty sure you've seen it, Lester. Jamie Foxx said it best. He said this: the more they try to erase, the more we will
Mm.
replace. So they can't take away black history, black creativity, black innovation, because we are so dynamic. We work in so many different lanes. Shout outs to Rob Love. Rob Love is joining me next week. Donald Trump is trying to pressure the college students to put something in where there's something to blame the Democrats for everything. Oh,
Mm.
I'm trying. I'm hold that for tonight. I don't want to get political with Lester. I'm gonna hold that for tonight, Deshaun, because I'm gonna let loose. I'm gonna tear his head off, literally on that panel tonight.
Mm.
So make sure y'all head on over and subscribe to Al's Tit for Tat because I'm going to be there on the panel. That's another thing. I've not only just been in my home, but it's been a pleasure to be able to go in other people's homes and voice my opinion and speak up for us even more. I love what I do. I'm not going to stop advocating and educating black people. That's something I'm not going to do, is stop educating my people. So my guest, that was one of the questions that LaTroy asked me yesterday. He said, what do you want to be remembered for? What is going to be your legacy? I said, I want my legacy to be remembered as a black woman who's independent, who's fearless, who stood up against fascism,
Mm.
who not only stood up against fascism, but who fought to make sure that her people, black people, everybody, LGBT, black, woman, Jewish, whomever, gets their due. That's something that I want to be remembered for. So yeah, we talk a lot about legacy, but I want to make sure that I'm leaving the mark, leaving the trail. And I'm definitely headed in the right path. I've been consistent. So that was going to be a question that I wanted to ask you, Lester, was we talk a lot about legacy. You have a lot of projects coming out.
Yeah.
What is something that you want to work on in your final chapter? Because we always look for that final piece to go in the puzzle.
Well, I think in this new phase that I'm entering, I found certain pieces that I can now work with. So Anthony Clark, I don't know if you're familiar with him. I definitely think you should have him on your
Yeah,
show. He's an incredible.
and I do need guests for next week.
You
I'm
need to
trying to
get
get
him on
that
the show.
800.
You
Yes.
need to get him on the show. Incredible producer, author. He's written several books. Now he's looking to turn his books into movies. Just a wonderful spirit. I got a chance to meet his mother. He's actually in post production on his feature film called When Worlds Collide with Deron Alexander. So they're doing some great things. And I got a chance to work with Anthony Clark. And he opened my eyes to the realization that we can do so much together. And so now I find myself looking for like-minded people who see things the way that I see them and who really want to push the culture forward. So Anthony Clark, Deron Alexander, Trey Chaney, another guy that you should definitely interview. I got a chance to work with him on set. He's such a wonderful spirit. He's known for being in The Wire, Saints and Sinners.
Yes.
Yeah, but these are people that I want to align myself with because they see things the way that I see them. Sometimes in the past, I would try to force these relationships because maybe those people didn't see things quite the way that I did. And I found
Yeah.
myself suffering because of it. It's hard to try to get somebody to share your enthusiasm if they don't have it, right? So now I'm learning to go with the flow. If it's not there, I'm not going to force it. I'll just go over here and try to work with these people because they get it. So I think that's my next phase. And I'm excited about it because we got a lot of projects in the works. And I'm working with those like minded people to bring forward these incredible projects.
It is key and critical, and my colleague Deshaun can vouch for this. That my shout outs to my other colleague Bubs the God, my other colleague Al as well too. We have formed
Mm.
community. It is important that you are a black collective. You form community. Find the people who are like-minded like you. So if you like fashion, that was another question that I got. How do you screen your guests to come on your show? How do you get to pick to choose what comes on your show? I try to get people who align more so with my views on life, who have a decent outlook, who have an open mind. Because in order to have healthy dialogue and conversation, it is critical and key that you find people who have a like-minded or an open mind, because I'm still a fresh new face to some, an unfamiliar face to some, and then some they're familiar with me because they check me out on a daily every Monday through Friday. It is key that we all form community in this business, no matter what field that you're in. Now, it may be the beauty field, it may be the fashion field, it may be what myself and my other colleagues, Bubs, Deshaun, shout outs to Conscious TV, CTV, who I had on last week. Is it key and critical and important that you find your tribe? And I feel like it's enough room for all of us at the top. It's enough room for everybody to shine. It's enough room for everybody to get their point across. And we have our disagreements. We have our healthy disagreements and our healthy conversations. And we also educate each other in the process. So that's what I love about it. As it pertains to having your vibe and your tribe, make sure that you are surrounded by people who uplift you also, who make you feel good about yourself in the end result. And that goes to everybody. I know we're feeling down, we're feeling despair, but I would say now is the time for everybody to form community more than ever. Find out who works for you. Now, back to the question that I got about somebody asked me, how do you get your guests for the show? How do you pick and choose who comes on your show? Well, we have the same way when I reached out to Lester. Lester already knew me when I reached out to him.
I
And
did.
I'm just like, you know me. And I think it was through my interview with Terry. Shout outs to Terry T. Miles. It was when I did my interview with Terry. And he said, I viewed your interview. And we also have Natasha Eli Pearson, who was in France, yeah, one of the movies
BFF.
with Terry.
I
I
think she was
forgot.
in
I forgot
BFF.
the movie. Yes, BFFs. That's it. Boom. So she's coming on later this year. And she said, Girl, I seen your interview. I seen you done interview Terry. I seen you interview Lester. So it's so crazy. It's a small world. It's a small business. Just from people watching your interview, you have no
Yeah.
idea. So it is key, it is critical, and it is important that we continue to form community of people who are like minded. And just the word can get along to the next person and they'll say, boom, I want to interview with her. So that's how I've also been getting some of my interviews through recommendation. So thankful for that. But like I said, I have openings. It's gonna be a little hiatus week next week. Like I said, we have Rob Love coming on, but also we should hopefully have our girl talk panel. But I will keep you guys posted. So it might be a little hiatus. However, we're still going to get that 800 goal. I'm not stopping until we hit that 800th episode. So my goal is to try to go for 1,000. I'm not gonna stop. I'm literally on fire. This has been the best season ever. I've had big guests on here this season. It's been amazing conversations, and hopefully you all can take something away from this. And it just a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication. So if it's something that you're working on, make sure you talk with your team about it. Find your vibe who attracts your find your tribe who attracts your vibe, like-minded people, as Lester just
Mm-hmm.
said, and make sure that you're also sticking to what you want to do. Make a list of it. So I make a list of who I think would be great to interview on the show. That's how I do it. I make a list in the back of my mind, like, they gotta have a personality like mine, fun, outgoing, bubbly, like to have a good time, but also meaning to be objective and have those conversations.
Yeah.
And so that's how I get my guests for the show. And that's why people come in. It's engaging to them. So thank you. Thank you all so much for tuning in. That was another question that I wanted to ask you. For you, getting into character, because this character is completely different than Uncle Willie. What would you say are the comparisons and similarities between Uncle Willie and the character in Polly Love and Peach City 2 and 3?
Well, normally for each character, I want to bring something different to the table. I don't want people to say, "Oh, that's Uncle Willie," but in another movie.
Mhm.
I want people to say, "Oh, that's a totally different character. I've never seen that character before. I've never seen Lester do that before." So I don't really try to find similarities. I try to find differences when I'm choosing roles. So let's say somebody approaches me, "Hey Lester, I think you'd be great for this role." I'll audition for it, and if I book the role, I'm already thinking to myself, "Okay, how can I make this different from all my other performances?" Because I don't want to get boxed in to just being one type of actor. I think it's important to show range. So I'm always looking for differences. Okay.
Typecasted. That happens to a lot of actors in the
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
And I can remember talking to someone about that. Another one of my favorite, I love her to death. She's one of my favorite comics, Leslie Jones.
Oh yeah.
She says, I'm tired of being casted as the loudmouth
Yeah.
best friend.
Yeah.
Let me see something else. And you know who else broke out of that mold of being casted
Who?
as the funny guy? I mean, even though he grew up into it. I mean, we watch shows like in Living Color, the Wayans brothers, Marlon Wayans.
Oh yeah.
When we saw him in Respect, you
I
have to
saw
be able
that.
to step outside of that range.
I
And
saw
we
that.
hated his character so bad because his character was
I
abusive
saw
to the Queen
that.
of Soul. I never knew that. So you got to be able to step outside of your norm
Yeah.
and do things that you're not capable of doing. Let me read some of you guys' comments because Deshaun is a fan of yours. He loves you. He
Oh
says, I took my
wow.
anger out on the woman that did that to Uncle Willie. He says, because the woman liked the match to create anger of a man. That's why he's like this. But let me tell you something. People got mad at Uncle Willie, but then felt sorry for Uncle Willie because he also experienced the same thing.
Yeah.
Listen, when you're going into character, you're having to carry this character's cross with you. Everything that this character has been through, you are breathing life into it, and the actor is the vessel.
Yeah.
So you're having to bring this character to life, wear their cross, carry their burdens, bring out all of the skeletons in their closet. And even for the villains in the film, Uncle Willie was a villain in the film. But you kind of, like Deshaun said, have to feel sorry for him because it's always a backstory. Yeah, we hate
Yes.
the bad guy, we hate the antagonist in the film, but there's always a backstory behind why the person is the way that
Acting
they
the
are.
way. Yeah.
Now, Father May I touched on trauma, family abuse, essay, shall I say. It touched on a number of heavy things that we in the Black community sweep under the rug and don't really talk about. So it opened Pandora's box for us to be able to have these conversations like this. And they need to be had. They're uncomfortable, but they need to be had because this happens. But it was actually the woman that did that. Yes, his
Mom,
mother. His mother did that to him. And that trauma, what he's experienced is now going on
the
to
like
his family members. Yes, I saw Lester pushing that character and I gave him a hug because the black community, we hide that. Yes, we hide it. We sweep it up under the rug. We're told, don't talk about it. What goes on in this house
stays
stays in this
in this
house.
house.
But in order to break that trauma, that generational curse and cycle of trauma, you have to talk about these things. If it is causing me pain, I have no guilt, or I should feel no shame about what I've experienced because I am a survivor. I went through this, and my story can be a testament to help somebody else. So don't, gaslight the victims who've experienced something like Uncle Willie, or someone who's experienced like the young lady in the film as well too. So it talks about trauma, that cycle.
Yeah.
And these are things that go on in the black community.
Community.
We just don't talk about them enough.
And
So Maya Spiller was spot on. I'm
yeah.
sorry, Lester. Go
No,
ahead.
no. And I was gonna say this. When I took on that role of Uncle Willie and Father May, I didn't know that it would have this kind of impact. I didn't think that people would stop me on the street and say thank you, or I appreciate your telling this story. Such and such happened to me. I was doing it because it was something different. I wanted to show that I could play a different character. So with my art, I want to inspire people. I want
Yeah.
to touch people. So that's my ultimate goal with what I do. For example, what you do, I'm sure you want to touch people's lives. You want to inspire them. So that's really what we as a human culture should focus on.
Sure. And Deshaun says, okay, if the woman didn't do that, what she did to Willie, what would he be like? If he didn't do that, he would probably be a good person. But
Right.
see, people hurt people. Again, that cycle goes on to the next person. So what we are saying is basically telling our stories. We have to tell our stories to impact the next person and the
Yeah.
next person. Speak about it. And sometimes these victims who've experienced this, they don't want to come out and say anything because they feel embarrassed, they feel guilt, they feel shame. And you shouldn't ever feel that way.
Mm.
You should never let anybody disinvalidate your story of something that you've experienced or trauma. I've had it happen to me. I've had people try to gaslight me and say, no, that didn't happen. You're over exaggerating. As it pertains to something else, it would be colorism. As you guys can see, I'm not the lightest girl in the room. And
Mm.
I barely talk about it. Every now and again, I'll talk about colorism, but that's something I've experienced. And that I think is also one of the key reasons why I don't have the opportunities as a Tamron Hall or anybody else. But I am perfectly fine where I'm at right here. I believe that it is in this business, especially working in the fashion and beauty industry,
Mm.
it is about desire. It is about pretty privilege or passing privilege, being able to lighter skin, light eyes, fine textured hair is what some of society's beauty standards want to see. But as a brown skinned girl, I'm not going to get those
Those
opportunities. So
opportunities.
colorism is definitely something that I've experienced. And I'm being this transparent in the interview, but I've been gaslighting. People say, no, you get you know this ain't happened to you. Tell me why I've been treated differently, Dan. That's not because of my eye color. I can tell you
Right.
that much.
So, Miss Stevie, I wanted to ask you though. Father May I is sort of my story in
Yeah,
film. What would you say is your story? Because you said that certain things happen to you. How are you able
colorism.
to use
Yeah.
your story to bring it to the world?
I I would say to people who've experienced it, I would talk about it. I would bring it forth.
Okay.
Continue to keep using my platform and my outlet to talk about it.
Mm.
I would love to write books on educating people on
Oh,
what colorism is and how deep it is in our community. Because back in the day, if you go back and you watch films like what Jungle Fever, it was a topic, yes, the interracial dating aspect, but it was also more so about featureism. It was also more so about we know that colorism falls also on that scale of white supremacy because it dates all the way back to slavery, where it was lighter
Mm,
skin in the house, darker skin in the fields.
mm,
So I would write books about this topic. It was one book that I read in particular, and it was in the fifth grade, and it's from Sharon G. Flake, and it's called The Skin I'm In.
mm.
And it covers this young lady named Malika who was going through high school, middle two, one and a two. And she was bullied a lot. She was teased a lot because she had a darker skin tone. The book is amazing. And I'm reading this at, in the fifth grade. So this book talks about colorism. It talks about how to navigate with people judging you based off your skin tone, judging you
Wow.
based off of that, because people of a darker hue we're looked at as masculine. Whereas if it's somebody who is of a lighter hue, they're looked at as less of a threat. And we
Wow.
can go on. We see colorism in shows, Basketball Wives. You'd be surprised, The Proud Family, and even though it was a sitcom we all grew up watching, that Living Single is another one.
Living.
Erica Alexander just recently touched on
I
that. She
saw
played
that.
Max on Living Single,
I
Maxine Shaw, and she
saw that.
talked about the treatment of how the other cast members, Queen Latifah, Kim Coles, and John Hinton, there was preferential treatment, but as it pertains to them, TC Carson and Erica, they were treated differently. If you go back and you look at another sitcom, Martin was another sitcom. Who got called Beady Bead? Who got called
Him.
all of the different names? And they wanted to call her all of these Martin. They wanted Martin to say certain things,
Oh,
and Martin was like, "I'm not going to say that to her. I would never
oh,
say that to a woman." So certain things had to be scrapped from the
yeah.
writing room.
Yeah.
Martin was not going to say those things to Tashina Arnold. So colorism is here, it's been in his business, but this is like my first time ever bringing this back up in 2025 because I've touched on it a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but I want people to understand the impact that it has on our community. The same thing that we're doing to each other, which is separating each other based on skin complexion and hair texture, is the same thing that this administration is currently doing to us now, which is oppressing us. So we can't be in beautiful melanated skin and oppressing our own people. It doesn't work that way. And again, I'm not the lightest girl in the room. I will keep
Yeah.
saying it. I have a big nose. I have big lips. I have almond shaped eyes. And these were features that I wanted to totally
Mm-hmm.
erase. I wanted to bleach my skin at one point. I remember that. I said, maybe if I wished I was light skinned, I would be better. Maybe if I changed my features to look like a Sharon Stone or like a woman of a desirable taste, then I would probably get more positions in this business.
Wow.
But I said, you know what? It's not worth it. People like what they're like. You're not going to be
Mm-hmm.
everybody's cup of coffee in the morning.
Mm.
So that is something that I've come to realize. And I think a lot of brown skinned girls, brown skinned boys, brown boys and girls that are watching this, I hope they take away from this. But yeah, those are things I wanted to do. I wanted to get rhinoplasty. I
Mm.
wanted to downsize my nose, lips, everything. I thought I was ugly because all of my life I've been picked on through grade school. And that has now stuck with me even in my adult
Adulthood.
years. Back and think about that traumatizes people. You're having to go back and sit and the words that people would call you think about these things. That's my first time ever sharing that. Been bullied since grade school.
But you're
And
so
again, it's about
beautiful, though.
learning.
I would have never guessed that.
Yeah, those are things I've experienced. I've been called monkey. I've been called every name in the book but a child of God because of my skin tone. And I'm in South Carolina, the red state, y'all. So y'all know that racism is rampant down here. And most of the unfair treatment came from some of the white kids, and then you had some of the black kids. So
Wow.
it's about desire. But yeah, from that, I wanted to change my features. I wanted to get a nose job. I wanted to bleach. I want to do all of those things. But the person who stopped me and made me reconsider and say, look in the mirror right here. You are beautiful because you came from me. You came from this woman, my mother. And if anybody can reassure you that you are beautiful, it is your mother. If not your mother, then your grandmother, who is 80 years old. She's still alive and living. And I'm thankful and blessed to have this woman in my life. Because if not, I would have made a big mistake. I would have made a big mistake and messed myself completely up.
Wow.
But yeah,
That's powerful.
colorism is something that impacts our community. And I'm going to keep continuing to use my platform and speak out about it. And that's
Yeah.
what I feel. I've been feeling it. I'm like, why am I not getting the recognition that other influencers are getting? Maybe if was lighter skin, or if I had lighter eyes, or a smaller nose, or smaller lips, then people would probably pay attention to what I would say.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That's powerful. You know why it's
And I
so
know a lot of,
powerful? Because
oh,
let me tell you why it's so powerful. Because as a dark skinned actor, I'm always looked at as the villain. I never get cast as the leading man, the romantic lead. I'm never the guy who is on the front poster with the beautiful woman. If I'm on the poster, I probably got a mask on. I probably got glasses on. I'm probably in the background, like a shadow hovering over everything. And I always ask myself, why is that? I don't understand, because I know if it were based off talent, I would be on the cover, hands down, no questions asked. But for some reason, they don't really see me as, oh, that's the sex symbol. That's the guy that the ladies are going to want to be with. That's the guy that the guys are going to find cool. No, I'm always the evil guy. Oh, yeah, that's the weird guy next door. That's the jerk down the block. That's the serial killer. And I never understood why, but now, based off what you were telling me, I think they put us in these boxes and they see us one way. So my goal moving forward is to show people that no, you can be a dark skinned actress or a dark skinned actor and be the lead and be the face of a movie or a TV show. So thank you for sharing that story. That really resonated with me.
and I hope it resonates with our people even more. We have to unlearn these things, because colorism is taking an impact on our community, the black collective, where we are separating. The only thing that should be separated by color is your laundry, your whites with your whites, your darks with your darks. But we
Right.
shouldn't be separating each other based off of skin tone or hair texture, because at the end of the day, we're melanated, and there are so many shades of melanin. That's what's so unique about black people, is that we have something in our skin that the others don't. We won't turn red when we go out in the sun, because there's something in our pigment that is
Mm-hmm.
so deep, that is so powerful,
Mm-hmm.
that protects us and our melanin. It's deep in us. It's embedded in us and our ancestors. But it dates all the way back to slavery. And we're still color struck. People are still color struck. So I was sitting and just brainstorming, and I'm going back and I'm watching my interviews, and I'm just like, why am I not getting the viewership? Why am I not getting the success of other platform hosts, of my colleagues? I feel left out. And this is my first time being vulnerable and sharing this with Lester as well as the audience.
Wow.
Then it just dawned on me, but I'm just like, something is off.
Yep.
You got to sit down and think, like, why are the numbers not showing? And
Mm-hmm.
I think it is because it is colorism. It is about
I,
desirability.
yeah. Let me ask you this: how much do you think talent plays a part in what kind of opportunities you get? Do you think talent is heavily considered, or do you think it's about a certain image and look?
How do I think? What was the
Okay,
question
yeah.
you asked me about talent
No,
and image?
no. I was gonna ask you, how do you see opportunity? Do you think they look at, and I say they, producers, some of these gatekeepers, do you find that they just look at a certain look and image in terms of who gets the opportunity, or do you think they say to themselves, no, this person is talented, I think we need to give her a shot because she's talented, not because she looks a certain way? What do you think is that main ingredient that they look for, these gatekeepers?
Think it's a little bit of both. Your appearance, your image is everything.
Mm-hmm.
When you walk into the room, the first thing they're going to notice is your hair. If you got great presentation, if you came in looking presentable, and it's about desirability, being able to sell it in order
Mm-hmm.
to get the role. So, I'll give you an example. Viola Davis, a darker skinned, beautiful black woman. She spoke out about colorism. She said, sometimes I don't get these roles that my lighter skinned counterparts, who are also black women, would
Mm-hmm.
get. So Viola Davis is not going to get the preferential treatment that a Kerry Washington would. They're always
True.
going to look at the lighter skin or Zoe Saldana, or I love her to death. My hair color that I wore yesterday was inspired by her, Holly Berry.
Halle Berry.
Holly Berry, she's not going to get the same treatment as these two women.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we see her talent, we see how passionate she is. It's darker skin that is always looked at as masculine,
Mm-hmm.
and looked at as aggressive, looked at as dangerous, looked at as unattractive. Darker
Like
skin,
Monique.
that's what it is. Yeah,
Like Monique. They see Monique as being threatening. Wow.
yeah. And Serena Williams, another example of a woman who experienced colorism
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
because
all about.
she's athletic built, she's very voluptuous, and not just that, but her skin complexion. So it's on both sides she's getting it. She's getting it from the other side, and then sometimes from some of our people in the black side as well too. So it's like it's a mix. It's misogynoir and colorism. And those of you who do not know what misogynoir is, it is basically saying that a woman looks anything other than herself, a woman.
Oh,
She's very masculine, she's aggressive, and that is very dangerous.
wow.
Yes, misogynoir.
I was having this conversation with somebody else, and he was telling me that somebody like a Meryl Streep, for example, she would never be this sexy sex symbol when compared to somebody like Halle Berry. And I was saying
Yeah,
to this person, I said, well, why can't Meryl Streep be cast as this sexy lead actress? Just because she might not be as curvy doesn't mean that she couldn't play that role. I like to see people who might be on the heavier side be a lead. Why not? Right? Not everybody is built like Barbie, right?
that
Not everybody
hourglass
is,
shape.
yeah,
I
not
know.
everybody
Yeah,
is built that way. So just because they're not built that way doesn't mean that those people shouldn't be highlighted or celebrated. I'm all about celebrating everybody because that's what world we live in. You see different shapes, sizes, forms, and colors. So why shouldn't those people be leads of certain films at certain points and it not be a big deal? That's how I see it. I could be wrong. I know people see somebody like a Michael B. Jordan. Oh yeah, he's this sex symbol. He's
yeah,
great to look at. But somebody like Anthony Mackie isn't quite as attractive as Michael B. Jordan, so he wouldn't be considered the sex symbol. I don't get it. Anthony Mackie's just as talented as Michael B. Jordan, and I'm sure people find Anthony Mackie very attractive too,
absolutely.
right?
He's a very handsome black man, as well as yourself. You're very
Well, I
handsome.
appreciate
So
that.
it goes back to desirability. not
Mm.
just desirability, but ageism is another thing. When you said, why wouldn't they see Meryl Streep as attractive
Oh,
as a Holly Berry or playing a role that's younger? Ageism is also a
it
thing in this
is.
business. It's a lot of ism, from colorism to ageism.
Mm.
When you get up, when you're in your 20s or you start off in your teen years, you're easy to market, you're easy to get out there. But as you get up in age, like Cicely Tyson has been acting all the way up until the time she passed away.
R.I.P. Yeah,
Great example. She kept going.
she did.
Betty White, who's one of my favorites. I'm a big fan of the
Golden
Golden Girls. I
Girls.
love the Golden Girls. Betty White kept acting all the way up till the age she got up there as well too.
Yeah, she died at
Dick Van Dyke
99.
said he's not slowing down no time soon.
Good point. And
So
I don't see
ageism
anything
is a
wrong with
thing
that.
in this
Should be people
business.
should be able to do that without being judged. Oh, this person's old.
Yeah,
Why is this person still doing it? This person shouldn't be in front of the camera anymore. This person doesn't look good anymore. This person should be behind the scenes now. I don't get it. If the person is still thriving and has a passion for what he or she does, then why don't we just celebrate what they do? That's how I see it. I don't want,
absolutely.
I would hate for people to say, wow, Lester is 70 years old. Why is he still acting? He shouldn't be in front of the camera anymore. He doesn't look this way or he doesn't look that way. I would hope that people would respect me because I respect what I do. I have a passion for acting and that has never changed or wavered. So they should celebrate that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And not only just this, but we're going to see a lot more in this business, a lot of shifts. It's going to be a lot of shifts because it's the next generation of actors and actresses that are coming up that are following in the footsteps of the Viola Davises, the Holly Berrys. So the same thing is going to apply to them. The same thing is going to happen to them as well too.
True.
But we have to break that cycle.
Mm-hmm.
This business is not for the fickle or thin-minded.
True.
You have to come in with your A game, 100%. But again, also they're gonna pay attention to your features. It's about desirability. And I noticed firsthand working in the fashion business that everything is about perfection. What you see in the magazines is sometimes not what you're gonna see in real life. There's a lot of airbrushing and filtering going on.
Mm,
Yes, to get the beautiful, perfect shot. But when we take it all off and we're home at the end of the day, we are our actual
selves.
selves. It's like we can breathe. So it is all about desirability, being pretty at the end of the day. Pretty sells,
Mm,
ugly doesn't. And again, as it pertains to colorism, darker skin is looked at as unattractive.
wow.
You won't sell unless you've got the light eyes, the light hair, light skin. That's what sells. That's what markets.
But when you look at somebody like a Denzel Washington or Kevin Hart, they're popular and they're selling. Their movies do well. They're leading men. So I don't understand this idea that dark skinned people don't sell. I don't get it. I'm looking at these people and they're thriving. So it doesn't make any sense to me.
And then look what, and another thing we have to do is in our community, stop separating each other based off of skin color because at the end of the day, we are all oppressed. Whether you dark skin,
Mm,
whether you light skin. If you light skin and you in that house, that means massa got to you
mm,
quicker.
mm. That's a whole nother issue. Mm,
That slavery mindset, 400 years of oppression, we
black,
have to
black.
unlearn what has been taught to us systematically.
Yeah.
Even being brought here on the ship, how we were treated.
Mm,
You can go all the way back to the Stono Rebellion. That's
talk about
how far ago colorism dates back to.
talk about it. I know some people who feel better because they're light skinned. They don't see themselves as being black. That's a whole nother thing.
Oh yeah, they don't like being called. I remember that. That was a whole thing too. Did you hear a lot of negative comments that Megyn Kelly said about black people
I
and
did.
Black Lives Matter? Well, she's always disrespectful
I
to black
did.
women. And Don Lemon, I don't want to say what Don Lemon said, but Don Lemon said it very brilliantly. She can go do that to herself. That's what she can do. She's a white woman. She has privilege. She can say these things because now it's emboldened. The racism is emboldened. And colorism is also a form of racism. Again, it falls on that ladder of white supremacy because you are categorizing people based off of skin complexion. Lighter skin over here, darker skinned over here. It dates all the way back to slavery. Again, they placed people my complexion and Lester's complexion in the fields. Anyone who was of a lighter hue would be in the house.
Wow.
See, but if she said that to Jews, she wouldn't even think twice to say that to Jews. Oh, they don't care. These white women who have these platforms on Fox News and so many others, they are going to continue to weaponize their white privilege.
Mm.
They're going to continue to weaponize their racism, their hatred towards anything that is other than them.
Mm.
They will always put their privilege first.
I'll
So
give you.
instead of,
Mm.
yeah, go ahead, let's I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna add to this. So they have this casting call in California for BET, and they're looking for entertainers, actors, hosts, and things like that. And I know when I go there, I'm gonna see different colors, different shades, different types of people. And I know from experience that when people go to those casting calls, sometimes they try to pretend to be something that they think that these casting directors want to see, as opposed to just going and being your true authentic self. So when I go to California next month, I'm going to go as myself. I'm going to celebrate my blackness and everything that I bring to the table. So I just wanted to put that out there. Sometimes people get caught up in what they think society wants it to be, as opposed to just embracing yourself.
You better.
Yeah.
And that's any black person going in these spaces where the majority, because LA, I've heard things from black actors about LA of how they're going into the spaces and they're being treated based off of their race, their ethnicity. Is like, you don't deserve to be here. You and your melanin deserves to be in any room, any space. And don't dare let anybody tell you that you're not welcome because you're
Mm.
black.
Oh, you're not good enough. Hmm.
My talent speaks for itself, and
Right.
as Lester just asked me, my talent speaks for itself, and that is the only thing that you should be concerned about. My melanin, my skin complexion shouldn't have anything to do with it. My talent should speak for itself.
Exactly. And that's what I'm gonna lead with. I'm gonna lead with my talent.
Yes, we're seeing it now. They're emboldened, as I was telling Sean, they're emboldened. They will let you know right up front.
They will. They will. And sometimes they don't. But you hear
Yeah,
about it.
it's hidden under the surface. It's typically
Exactly.
hidden under the surface, though. The racism.
Exactly.
It's like down here in South Carolina, they'll smile in your face. They'll put on a smile. But then I give you an example, a story. My mom had to leave a pharmacy because the pharmacy was overcharging her
Mm-hmm.
for her medications, and had to go back to Walgreens. You know, Walgreens has the pharmacy. No discrimination there, none of that. So this particular pharmacy tried to overcharge her, and then they started hiring black workers. My mom clocked it, caught it, right onto it. She said, y'all overcharging some of y'all's black customers. I'm in the great state of South Carolina, so the racism is hitting in the surface. It's in your face. How they do it is economic.
Ooh.
They go for your pockets the same way this administration is going for people's
Oh.
pockets. And they're saying it's the trans, it's the DEI, it's that. It's not us. Don't blame it on us. It's
Oh.
the man who is the occupant of the White House. But they down here in South Carolina, how they handle racism and how they go about doing it is it's hidden under the surface. They won't call you the N-word to your face.
Mm-hmm.
They'll go for your pockets and they'll try to overcharge you. And then you'll see them wait on another black
Mm-hmm.
customer, another, excuse me, not black customer, but a white customer, and treat them better than they would treat the black customer. So we see it firsthand.
Wow.
We see it. Yeah, it's down here. The prejudice is down
How do
here.
you handle
They
that when
just don't say
you see
it.
it in your face? What do you do when that happens?
Now, my approach is different. Because I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to wind up in handcuffs and y'all see me all over the
Right.
news like what she done did.
Yeah.
My mom is a different story. I told y'all she's a Libra. She calls it out right to their face. Like,
Okay.
you're not about to do that to me. You didn't overcharge that person. Why are you
Under
overcharging
me.
me?
So she
So
calls it out.
yeah, the racism is hidden under the surface. They go for your pockets. So there's different forms of racism. There's systematic, and then there's the one where they go for your pockets, where they go for your money.
Wow.
And
Never
you
thought.
notice how the white customers are treated better, and then the black customers are treated like crap.
Wow. I never looked at it
And I'm
that.
pretty sure it's going on in other
Oh,
cities
of
as well
course.
too, where people have experienced that.
Of
Store
course.
clerks as well too, rude to black customers. And we're not doing anything but trying to shop, get in the store, get in and get out, because the line gets longer.
Wow. Look at DKLA 1220. She said, I'm glad to meet Stevie. You definitely need to have her on your show. Incredible talent.
Definitely message me, DM me, because I'm
Yeah.
looking for guests for next week. I had slots filled, but obviously those slots are open. So I am looking for guests. So if you're interested, definitely send me a
Yeah.
DM.
And then Baby
Hey
Joy
Stevie, and what's going
1986.
on with
Deidre, she's also a talented actor, actress. You should definitely have her on the show as well. A lot of potential guests I'm looking at right now. They're all in your room.
Yes, and I have some slots open.
Oh,
Get to me. Definitely message me. But we were talking about systematic racism and and how it affects us
mm,
as black people from what they're doing from this administration. So thank you, Deshaun, and how colorism also takes a play into that as well too. Because
definitely.
even with if someone goes out here and assaults someone, basketball wives, it was in a season of basketball wives, and they were saying they throw chairs and they throw things at each other, but the darker skinned person didn't do that. The person who who did it
Mm,
was Evelyn Lozada. She's doing these things. It's not OG.
mm,
OG is the person who's experiencing the colorism.
mm.
So why is she labeled as aggressive and Evelyn is not? So we see it on
Yeah.
shows, colorism, the whole conversation surrounded. It goes to Love and Hip Hop Atlanta too. One of the stars on there, Spice, what she was called was very inappropriate. I I wouldn't condone anything like that.
It's everywhere, though. It's everywhere.
It's in your
It
face. And what's
is.
sad is even we can go back in films. One of the most classic films is School Days.
School days.
Spike
I never.
Lee School
Oh,
Days.
okay.
And Tisha Campbell, Jasmine Guy, all of them were in the film. Lawrence Fishburne too.
Oh, okay.
Um, Giancarlo, all of them. It was an all ensemble cast. That's a cult classic film. There's one scene where they talk about I think it's the Wannabes or the Jigaboos. Tisha Campbell and Jasmine Guy were a part of it, and then they had the ones who were of a darker hue, different
Oh,
hair
I know you're
texture
talking about.
and everything.
I've seen that
Yeah,
clip.
that particular scene.
I've seen that
So
clip.
colorism has been there. What Spike Lee did was revolutionary because now it opened the door for us to have these conversations like this. And what can we do to break the system of systematic racism and oppression? Because we are oppressing our own people based off of skin complexion, based off of hair texture. That's another thing in this business is hair texture and how natural hair is looked at as less than. And whereas
Wow.
if you have hair like the hair that I'm wearing today, is looked at as more
More
presentable.
marketable.
Yeah.
I didn't even
And I've worn a
think
variety
about that.
of hair textures
Wow.
and looks on this show.
Hair tech.
Black women, we're not a monolith. We don't stay the same. And one thing about me is I'm always going to change my look. I'm a black woman. So these are things that I'm going to continue to keep doing is changing my look, evolving with the times. I
Yes.
probably might come on here with a shaved head. So I mean,
Right.
that would shock the world, but I wouldn't do that. I'm versatile. I love changing up my look. I don't like to stay the same. And that's one thing I'm notorious for doing is changing my look. When you work in the fashion industry or business, those designers there are going to want you to change your look to go along with
That
whatever
they're creating.
garment that you're modeling in a campaign or walking on the runway. They want something
So,
different.
yep.
They don't want you to stay the same. And I know the audience has a short attention span. They get bored. They notice, oh, her hair looks the same today. She looks the same. No, I'm going to give you what you want. I'm all the flavors of candy. So I'm going to give you everything you
Right.
want. One
Right.
day I'll be blonde, the next day I'll have black hair. Lately I've been in my dark hair phase, but I've been feeling more so of going back to blonde, which is what I'm synonymous for doing, which is blonde hair. So I love to change it up. I don't like to stay the same, and I know a lot of black women can relate to that. Black people as a collective, black men too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you just seen at the Met Gala, Future cut his dreads. That shocked me. So I mean, hey, even black men don't like to stay the same. The same for them as well too, as it pertains to fashion.
Yep.
So you see a lot of black men say, I'm ditching the locks, I'm doing something different, I want to start over, I want to bring back whatever. So I mean, it's about versatility, especially in this business, working in the fashion industry or in the entertainment business, going for a role.
Mm.
I give you an example. Christian Bale had to gain weight for a role, and that completely altered his appearance. So they're wanting, these producers, these directors are going to want you to go along with uh, whatever role that you're playing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I agree. Michael B. Jordan, he's always changing his look. You look at
Oh
his
yeah.
movies, always changing up. He doesn't always have huge muscles. Sometimes he's on the slimmer side, and other times he's built like a bodybuilder. It just depends. So, good point.
Absolutely, Baby Joy says, love that. Yeah, I love versatility. I don't like to stay the same. And that's for a lot of black women in general. We are not a monolith. Again, one day I want to look like Selena. The next day I want to look like Beyonce. The next day I want to look like Janet. The next day I want to look like Rihanna. But at the end of the day, you're getting it in a Miss Stevie form.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's me. It's me. It's still me. So I haven't changed. My personality is still the same. The only thing that's different is my hair color that week. But I believe in versatility, and I believe that in this business, in order to make it, you have to bring something different.
Different.
Don't
Woo.
change who you are, though. Don't,
That
don't change who you are. Don't lose sight of who you are, because I see so many people get caught up in this business and lose sight of who they are,
that part.
and they become a completely different person. And it's like, this is not the person I met when I first went into this. Who
Yeah.
is this person? Who are you?
Mm.
So it's a
So true.
lot of people have to internalize and think about as we're sitting, as we're processing this.
No, well said. Well said. I enjoy this. We need to have more conversations like this. I didn't know we were going to talk about all this, and I'm glad that we did.
Yeah. It needs to be talked about, especially in this day and age, as we're seeing our rights as Black people
Mm-hmm.
that we've worked so hard for being stripped away from us. And Deshaun, you know how I feel about that. You're going to find out tonight how I feel about that too on that panel, and I can't wait. But we have to have these healing conversations within our community, the Black collective, because in order for us to work together and bridge this gap of this dark entity that has now taken over everything, we have to be able to hear everybody, and
Yeah.
we can't leave anybody that is Black, no corner, unturned.
Mm.
We need each other more than ever. We're in this together.
Amen. I agree.
I want
Eh,
y'all all to remember that. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people in the film business have experienced colorism by our people, Black actresses, Black filmmakers, directors. It's about being marketable, being desirable.
mm,
But we're getting rid of that. Thankfully, thank God that the beauty standards of what you should look like have changed. And now people are saying, hey, this is beautiful
yes.
too. Your 4C hair is beautiful. Your chocolate skin is beautiful.
Amen. I-
Your nose, these are Black features. Black people, we these are Black
mm,
features. You can tell I'm Black. I mean, it's not going nowhere. They're buying our
yeah.
features. They want bigger nose. They want bigger lips. They're getting fillers injected into their lips to look like mine.
The
These are
tables have
Black
turned.
features. Yeah.
Tables have turned. I agree. Well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
And I want you all to take that away. So before we close, this is such a great conversation, Lester. We got to have more of it. And we're going to talk offline too. But what gems would you give to our black and brown boys and girls who are watching us both, who are following in our footsteps? They're seeing you. You are an award winning actor, director. You've been 23 times nominated. You host a show that has been on iHeart and other platforms as well too. And you're still breaking barriers in this business as a black man. What
Mm-hmm.
advice would you give to the next generation that is following in our footsteps?
I would just say the proof is in the pudding. I'm a dark skinned male and I'm making do with all of my talents because I am talented. So don't ever let somebody tell you that you can't do something because of the shade of your color. Embrace all of your blackness. That's what I would tell them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want you all to remember that. Today's final thought comes from Patrick Stump. He says, when you have a bad day, a really bad day, try and treat the world better than it treated you. And I want you all to remember that. I want you all to remember that. Try to treat the world better than the way it treated you. A smile, a hug. I'm an affectionate person. I told y'all I love to give hugs. I
Yeah.
love to embrace people. It's my I think I get it from my mother. My mother is a nurturer. We get it from all of our mothers. We nurture. Our mothers nurture us. They care for us. Mothers are the salt of the earth. They
Mm-hmm.
are the crust that keep us growing each and every day. And so I think I inherit that from my mom. And I think in these times, a kind word, a blessing. Hey sis, how you doing? Oh my God, girl, your hair is on point. I love your nails. Shout outs to my colleague Bubs to God for saying that. We need to do more of that in the Black collective. Instead of tearing our people down,
Mm-hmm.
we need to be looking out, complimenting one another. Even if the person don't say anything about it, it's just like that's all right. Keep it pushing and moving. But at the end of the day, you can either take that compliment or, as you said, go on about your business.
Right.
But encourage and uplift our people more than ever. And for the ones like myself who are out here doing the educating, who are out here laying out the groundwork to educate and inspire people, I want you all to take away from that. Each and every one of you, take away from that. Educate. You learn something new each day. And DL, she says, I want Miss Stevie to help me write this. Yeah, shout out to LaTroy. LaTroy said, Miss Stevie, you're like a historian. How do you know these things? How do I know so much about colorism? Is because I've read a lot. It wasn't just light skin. The back in the day they would call it light skin versus dark skin, but there was a name for it. We just didn't know that name. That name was colorism. They divide you up based off of skin complexion.
Mm-hmm.
So to any beautiful brown boy or girl that has watched today's conversation and show, I want you to know that you are worthy. Your black is beautiful. Your melanin is everything. Your energy when you walk into a room, it's a certain lighting. When Erica and Kyle TC was doing Living Single, the lighting director of Living Single noticed whenever Erica came into a room, Maxine Shaw, it was a certain lighting on her skin. And how my skin looks now, even though I'm all made up and stuff, how that lighting looks on her skin.
Yeah.
When you walk into a room, that should be the light that you are. That should be the light that you are. Your melanin is everything. You are divine. And don't ever let anybody, as Deshaun said, tell you that you were less than. I didn't think I was worthy. I didn't think I was beautiful. I didn't think I was pretty. I was unattractive, all of that. Because people have told me that for so long,
Mm-hmm.
that is programmed. See, that generational cycle of trauma. Now I am open to receive the love and the compliments. Oh my God, you're beautiful. I receive it now. Thank you. You're beautiful too. Each and every one of us, we are beautiful in our own divine right. And I want you all to walk away knowing that whatever you're going through, whether it may be that dark period in your life, this is just a temporary storm because Storms don't last forever. Tornadoes, hurricanes do not last forever.
Amen.
You will get through the end of it. And that's just a test that God has taken you through. So let me get off my soapbox preaching because y'all heard enough. I feel like I've given a master class today
Nah,
or something. Again, I want you all to walk away being intentional, being grateful, and embracing who you are. Take one look in the mirror. That's the first thing I do in the morning. No makeup and all. Fresh face, coal in my eyes, just real, bare, raw. No makeup. I do my affirmations. And one of the affirmations that I say to myself is that my energy is palpable.
mm,
It is so powerful that everybody receives it in the room. And King David, shout outs to King David in the comments, he said this. He said, we need to do a real live show. We need to do a live show with you and in person. Because the energy that they feel on the live, they want to be able to experience it in person. I've been told that I have a very strong chi. And each and every one of you, you have a very strong chi and energy as well too. I want to be able to feel it live and in person with you too, so it can just permeate through the room. It's like a good kind of virus, contagious,
mm.
like you can't get enough of it, a good kind of high. That
Amen.
you don't even have to drink coffee or anything to get you energized through the day. Just the natural love and energy in the room will permeate through, and that will get you high. So I want you all to be able to feel that. So yes, it's gonna happen, King David. We working on it. We working on it. And as for you, Lester, congratulations to you
Thank you.
and your endeavors. I'm proud of you. And this is not the end. You will get that leading role. You will get that leading role that you wanted.
Thank,
I see it happen.
thank you. And you as well. The sky's the limit for you. I can already see you doing even more incredible things. So keep pushing through. You definitely have it.
Absolutely. I absolutely will. And let everyone know where they can follow you and check out your projects. You've got at least 34 projects that you're working on. Some are in post, some are in pre.
Yeah, definitely follow me on Instagram at actor Lester Green with an E at the end. And we have this other project coming out called Uneven Deception by Nicaila Knox. And I'm really excited about that. We went to North Carolina to film that. We're having a premiere for it at the end of this month. So that should be available on Amazon and Tubi within the next couple of months. And that's an interesting character that I play. So I'm not going to ruin it right now, but you're going to be really surprised at the character that I play.
And as DLA said in the comments earlier, range. So you got to be able to have that versatility and range. We want people to know you want people to know you more than just Uncle Willie. And that's what I love about you is that you are showcasing your range and stability. And that's what an actor does. Before we go, I'm going to quote Taraji P. Henson. And she said this when she was doing Empire. She said, I won't do it if it doesn't scare me. So we see her for portraying the funny girl. We see her for portraying the love interest, dating the leading guy, baby boy, Tyrese, whatever. But this right here is completely different than
Mm,
Yvette and Baby Boy. This is
yeah,
Pookie Lion. Pookie Lion was a powerhouse. She was a character. We were quoting her lines. The
yeah,
fans of the show, Bye Boo Boo Kitty. I mean, all of her lines were synonymous. We were quoting it all, and it's about being able to have range. So again, for anybody, any actor, if you want to stand out in a role, be able to step outside of your norm and your comfort zone. It can be scary, but it's so worth it.
absolutely. Thank
There we
you.
go.
But I appreciate you and your time.
You are so welcome, and we definitely will keep in touch, and we'll talk more after the interview. Uh, and this interview will be uploaded to Style by Stevie. Again, we are on the road to 800 interviews, Fashion Dolls, 800 shows. Next week, we have comedian Rob Love joining me. So make sure you guys tune in for that. And I will keep you guys posted if I have anything else coming up. But we are not going to stop here. The grind will continue. I love you all. And head on over and subscribe to Style by Stevie Daytime on YouTube so that you can see all of some of this week's previous shows and catch up in case you missed anything. And also check me out tonight on Owl's panel, Tit for Tat, with the Sean Stallings. Shout outs to Bubs the God, my colleague, and also my other colleague and amazing, uh, I had him on last week. Conscious TV might pop up, so make sure you guys stay tuned. You never know. Tune in tonight at Tit for Tat. This was the best live. Thank you so much. And I thank each and every one of you, Short Stack family. Thank y'all so much for showing me so much love and support and just being that community that we need more than ever. So I love you. And I want you all to be safe and have a fabulous weekend. Mother's Day is this Sunday, the 11th. So make sure y'all go and pick out something very special for the woman in your lives and cherish these women. I love you. Take care, Fashion Dolls. Till next time.